I will start with the basic editing and transition. The classic style of editing between two people or an object is called shot reverse shot. Shot reverse shot is a technique where one character is looking at the other character off screen, and then the other character is shown looking back at the first character. In other words, this is the 180-degree rule. The 180-degree rule is a guideline where two characters in the scene should maintain the same distance. When the character passes over the invisible axis connecting the two subjects, aka crossing the line, the shot becomes a reverse angle, which then messes up the whole scene because this shot becomes reality and audience become confused. This goes all the way back to classic Hollywood. The 30-degree rule helps make this possible. In the 180-degree rule, you must also make sure you don't break the 30-degree rule. The 30-degree rule is a guideline which states the camera should move at least 30 degrees between shots of the same subject, but also maintaining in the 180-degree axis. George Miles used it for his film A Trip to the Moon, so the technique has been out for a long time. If you break the 30-degree rule, the character will look like he's jumping from one side to another. This again will cause confusion to the audience and will lose the reality of the film. The film also becomes jumpy and confusing. Following the 180 and 30-degree rule helps keep the reality in a film. It is a simple technique to do, but it is effective in film. If done wrong, the whole scene will have to be reshoot. Match on action, or known as jump cut. It's a technique more advanced and it's hard to do, but when it works, it looks really good. Match on action is when transitions, camera angles match perfectly to make an illusion of reality. For example, film someone walking, going from a full body shot to a close-up of the feet. The feet should match the moving body perfectly. This is important because it creates a sense of reality. Another example of this is The Matrix. Dissolves is a transition where an image is fading to another image. They are used for many reasons, such as changing time, changing location, time needs to be speeded up or slowed down, when there is an emotional component to the subject in the story, and when there is a strong visual relationship between the outgoing and incoming images. It was part of the French New Wave and used to be used quite a lot, were first invented, but highly used in no films made today. Fades. Fade in and fade out is a transition to symbolize the end or a beginning of a story, chapter, film, TV show or video. They help the audience see that one story's ended and a new one's beginning. They're not normally used in films, but most commonly used in TV shows. The technique is very similar to dissolves. Wipe is a transition when the director is moving from one scene to another, leaving one story and joining another. The most common use of wipe is the invisible wipe. This is where a camera follows a person into another room by tracking parallel to the actor. You see the use of wipes in the Star Wars all the time because a lot of things are going on at once. For example, Luke Skywalker flying off to space and then the scene will change to the Death Star. The important thing is about wipes is they should always link, just like they do in Star Wars. George Lucas, the director of Star Wars, used this technique inspired by Akira Kurosawa, a Japanese director. Match cut helps match two different shots together, showing a relationship between them. These are commonly used in Mexican standoff and duels. Transition creates a simple reality effect. Alternate editing is different to classic community editing. These are often not connected with making sure the viewer is seeing believable space in front of them. However, they can manipulate the audience as the viewer has suspended belief. Montage. This edit technique is when seemingly unconnected shots are blissed together to reach further, often symbolic meaning. For example, a shot of a teacher and then it changes to a shot of smiling children. This makes the audience think the children having a fun lesson are made to link, although they are completely unconnected. New Wave editing. The purpose is where the rules of continuity editing deliberately broken to create visible editing. For example, the French New Wave often used their films to look bad and unrealistic on purpose. They did this by using jump cuts, so the scenery changes and the actors have moved within seconds. They also used unedited footage, also known as rushes. They did this because they want the audience to know what they're watching is not real. Superimposition works like dissolves, showing us two different images at once, on top of another. Again, similar to dissolves, they suggest a connection between the two images. Split screen. It has a lot of uses. It could be used alongside montage to show two scenes happening at the same time. It can allow us to watch two events. It can show two different versions of events, e.g. expectation and reality, different angles of action happening. Temporal effects, slow motion and speed up. Slow motion is a technique where it allows you to exaggerate certain things and moments. Also, it lets the audience appreciate the images. It could also be used to allow audience to see details that they might have missed because it happens so fast that the human eye cannot see. For example, blood going everywhere in a fight scene. Speed up motion is a technique where you can explain events in a quick fashion, like telling a story which really isn't that relevant. Or it can be used to represent comedy, and it can show a comedic effect. They both can be used together for great dramatic effect or for creating a rhythm and a pace in action. This technique is also known as speed ramping. Freeze frames. They force the audience to look at one particular shot. It can be used to freeze action at critical times and are perfect for narration. Limited, no cutting. This technique forces the audience to think about what they're seeing. It is supposed to make them feel claustrophobic and uncomfortable. Visual effects. The audience is supposed to know what was being seen is not supposed to be in the film world. The audience is supposed to know what they're seeing is made by special effect and it's not reality.